Hey Geekscapists, in May we lost one of our own, Geekscapist Christopher Ellis, who was a part of our community from the very beginning. He even met his wife Sarah through our podcast. And although we couldn't save Chris, his final weeks battling in a hospital shed light on a huge national problem, the increased need for blood donations, which were hit very hard during the COVID pandemic. I'm here at UCLA's Blood and Platelet Center to introduce you to some new friends who can illustrate for you just how important it is to donate blood and also how easy it is. You want to be a hero? This is your chance. Hey Geekscapists, I'm here with my friend Wesley Wu. What's the organization you're with?
Yeah, I'm part of a Bruin Blood Initiative, and it's a small organization at UCLA.
I'm with future microbiologist Becca Nelson here. She's a sophomore at UCLA. What made you want to go into microbiology? Sounds tough.
You know, I'm just really interested with everything like little and, DNA and the coding of how things work and just diving into how life is at the smallest level.
I'm chilling here with my guy Christian. He's a biochemistry student, future Spider-Man villain. You know that's how it turns out, right?
Potentially.
I'm here with Dr. Alyssa Zyman. You're the chief of transfusion medicine.
That's correct.
What does that mean for somebody who basically just knows science from Spider-Man movies?
Starts with blood collection from a donor, and then we manufacture it into a transfusible product, and then it gets ordered by a doctor to be transfused into a patient.
How did you get involved with Bruin's Blood Initiative?
My mom gave birth to me. There were some complications, and she lost a lot of blood.
Is your favorite Marvel movie Ant-Man? It is. Okay. About how long does it take to donate?
It takes like around 30 minutes. But don't forget, you have snacks, you have company to always make you feel comfortable.
Okay, Wesley, I gotta ask, how big was your head when you were a baby that you put your mom in danger? Like,
not that big, hopefully. I think it was an average sized human.
How do you work donating blood in like your busy student schedule?
Honestly, it's super fast. I'll come in, fill out the paperwork, and then you sit down, and then you have to spend 15 minutes here, but honestly, it's just me eating Cool Ranch Doritos.
Wait, you get snacks for donating blood?
We also get a lot of perks too, so depending on the months. You might get like movie tickets, or you might get gift cards to different places. So even though it's a perk, an incentive, it's truly the reason why we donate is because we're saving lives.
I got a $7 gift card here for the store. They got like In-N-Out gift cards for the Californians. For other people, it's kind of specific. There's movie tickets, but to me, it's not those that are important. Really, I think a lot of people just don't know how easy it is.
So what would you say to somebody who's maybe scared of donating?
The process, the actual donation for whole blood takes less than 10 minutes.
Just think about the good, and like also, you can eat Cool Ranch Doritos while donating.
So coming out of the pandemic, what do things look like for blood donations?
So right now we're in a critical shortage. It's a shortage like I haven't seen in the 2 decades that I've been practicing. Here at UCLA, our collections have gone down by about 30%.
And now, obviously, while things are opening up again, there's another decrease because people are going back to work, and there's an increase in need for blood.
Do I need to know my own blood type before I donate?
No, you don't need to know your own blood type. We'll tell you your blood type, but we take all types, right? Because patients have all types of blood, so we always need a mix of all blood types.
And anybody can donate?
Anybody can donate, assuming that the donation will be safe for them and their blood will be safe for patients.
No werewolves?
No werewolves.
Werewolves cannot
No
donate.
vampires?
No vampires.
None of that.
The Kool-Aid Man. Sugar peddler or OG blood donor? Are they drinking his blood, Wesley?
I don't know.
I might be concerned if it was blood. And also the fact that there's like a giant talking jar of blood.
That would be fabulous, right? If you have 5 liters, could you imagine how many liters of blood in the Kool-Aid Man?
Dr. Zyman, thank you. You've convinced me. I'm gonna go donate blood right now.
That's great. Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and go save a life.
I'm putting my money where my mouth is and doing some donating of my own. Now it's your turn. If you're in Los Angeles, come by the UCLA Blood and Platelet Center and donate some blood. Otherwise, follow these URLs and find a place near you nationwide. Take a selfie of yourself donating with the hashtag GeekscapeGives, and we'll pick out some of you to feature across the network and send some prizes to. We couldn't save our friend Chris, but we can honor his memory with our donations. So go out there and donate, and you might even save some lives in the process.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there we are. I hope you enjoyed that video. We got it over on our YouTube channel, and we got it on Facebook as well. If you go to the Geekscape Facebook page, you can watch that video as many times as you want. Would love for you to share it. But more than anything, let's not just pat ourselves on the back. Let's get out there and actually donate some blood, get others to do it. Again, we got our good friend Chris Fafalios. This dude barely got the vaccine. He's so scared of needles. He's one of the hosts here on Geekscape. He hosts our One Hit Thunder podcast. And I was like, man, there's no way he's going to be able to donate blood. He is petrified of needles. But he did make that cool flyer that we're using for the event. And he did his part. He's going to keep forwarding this stuff to his friends and get them to donate. So that's huge. This is our message for the month. It'll be our message beyond. We miss Chris. Chris was the coolest dude. He was a Geekscapist like you. So in memory of him, let's just keep this blood drive going all month long and beyond. I'm into it. I talked to Tom yesterday over at UCLA. I said, Tom, I think I got to get back on the schedule, man. How many days has it been since I donated in the video you just watched? And he said, I think you can come back in September, and or late August. And I said, great. I just want the Cool Ranch Doritos. No, just kidding. I want to help some lives. To talk a little bit more about helping lives, got a panel of some UCLA doctors. I've got Devra, who's the mother of the infant that I talked about. And I got my good friend Wesley Wu back here. I do want to tell you all, though, that I've been asked to say that the opinions that you're about to hear are not representative of UCLA. They're the doctor and they're everybody's own opinion. So I'm sorry I'm stumbling on that one, but there's a little disclaimer there. This is everyone's opinion, not the organization they represent. Did I say that right, Kathy? I know you're watching in the back, making sure that I do a good job. So give me a thumbs up if I said that right. Okay, let's have Wesley back on here. Wesley, buddy, was that all right?
Hi, Jonathan. Yes.
Did you like the video, buddy?
I did. I was happy to include the joke.
Okay, good.
Big head.
Listen, you don't have a big head, man. It's just, you were a rough pregnancy, I think, or a rough delivery.
I grew into my head.
Is that why you're like super smart, super student, volunteering with Bruin Blood Initiative because you're making up for that like really tough delivery? You've been an ace child ever since.
Yeah, kind of. Like give back, right? A bit bad, my mom. She got this in return.
Yeah, maybe let's have Devra on. Devra, so Devra Schwartz, you actually had a pretty scary situation a few years ago, and we're going to talk about that. But I just introduced that theory to myself just now in my head that if you're a more problematic younger kid, do you grow out of that phase? Or if you're like a perfect child, do you then later have a problematic phase? Like, I don't know. I'd like to maybe be a parent one day. I don't know how to do it right.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. I have to tell you guys, I'm just so heartened by your commitment and everything you're doing to raise awareness about the importance of blood donation. I have my tissues here. I've already cried, so I'll try to get myself through this.
Well, Wesley's the one who's been doing it since high school. I had my own, I had my own organization in high school. It was Students Against Drink Driving and Mothers Against Drink Driving. I lost my older brother before I left high school. My older brother was killed by a drunk driver. So, this is, volunteering and being a part of an organization is something that I always wanted to be a part of. That I did in high school. And that one's personally connected to me. But now, having lost Chris, we got the blood donation one that's part of my story. So, Devra, and Wesley, Devra, I read the story about your son. You have two sons, and this is actually a pretty scary story. Judah was 2 or 3 when he got ill.
Yeah, he was just a little couple months over 3 years old. And he contracted a very severe infection as a result of exposure to E. coli, which caused his kidneys to shut down and have him, he had seizures and strokes, but he suffered severe blood loss. And it was scary, and it happened quickly. Nothing you ever think will ever happen to you.
And I mean, I'm not a parent, but I imagine, I mean, that is reading the article and seeing just how quickly he needed help.
Yeah.
Like Judah was eating dinner one moment, and then within hours or a day, he had just gotten really sick. I mean, just being a novice with all this, sometimes when I think about blood donors, I think that there needs to be like a level of blood loss to happen. Like, so like I talked to some people through the UCLA Blood Platelet Center about maybe their brother was, or they were involved in a car accident and needed blood. Or in the case of Chris, he was already in the hospital and he was sick, and the treatments he was in for required blood. But this is, Judah ate something bad.
Yeah.
Like we're always eating. We have to
I
eat.
know.
And anything that we eat, if it's not cooked right or not prepared right, it could have an E. coli virus in it. And that could cause what? Some kind of a system shock? Like what was?
Yeah, he definitely hit worst case scenario when he was sick, when he first got sick and they were working on the diagnosis and doing the tests, which can take time. They said, look, we're so far from worst case scenario. And then he, that the first night, actually, he was admitted. We spent the night in the ER at UCLA in Santa Monica. He got admitted. And they did all these blood tests, and we found out that his platelets were at 13,000. And for your viewers, a healthy person's count is usually 250 to 450,000. So 13,000 is dangerously, obviously low. And, there's no cure for E. coli. The body has to work it through. And you just have to keep the symptoms at bay as best you can and hope the person comes through the other side. It's really very, very scary. I'll tell you, they told us he needed a blood transfusion. I have goosebumps just thinking about this moment. And I thought, wait, what? I thought he just had severe
stomach illness.
Yeah, just something that will be out. He just needs an IV. And they brought the platelets over. My parents were there too. And we sat around his bed holding hands, while they gave him these platelets. Sorry.
It's okay.
And we had hoped maybe this one bag, maybe this will be the cure. And, 47 transfusions later, thank God, this
On
kid
a 3-year-old
pushed through. 3-year-old, 37-pound kid in 21 days went through 47 transfusions of blood, platelets, and plasma. But I'll tell you, that first one, where we held hands, just so grateful. And as Judah eventually called it, his gold medicine. Oh my, when he had been intubated, but when they brought him back and he still was getting all this stuff, he said, we talked about it, the red medicine and the gold medicine, because you can't talk to a child about somebody else's blood, coming into their body. And we did feel like it was true gold medicine.
And it took the combined efforts of not just the folks at UCLA, but also your husband works over at LMU and Loyola Marymount, and they were part of organizing the blood drive as well. I mean, the whole they put together a small army to save a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes. And that's why when we're doing this blood drive, I want people to watch this and realize, sometimes to save someone, it takes a small army of donors. I mean, 13,000 platelets down from what should be 350 to 400,000. That is dire circumstances.
Yeah. And it doesn't get better by giving platelets, because he keeps having blood loss, so you have to keep replenishing. But, I've just been thinking about, when people hear about blood transfusions, you think, oh yeah, they just grab the blood, right? And they deliver it to the patient.
Sure.
But when I'm sitting at his bedside, texting everybody I know, posting on every social media outlet, please donate blood in my son's name so he can get through this. That's scary. And I don't know, I hope the people who are watching this know that there's no guarantee of supply. Really, this is incumbent on every single person to just take 10 minutes and really save a life.
So we've got Dr. Alyssa Simon standing by. Why don't you join us? And then Dr. Gavin Roach. When you think about this whole idea of donating platelets, I've donated platelets. how does this work? How does this blood transfusion work? I'm not smart. I'm not Wesley. Okay, I went to school for film. Let's just come on. You're gonna have to explain this to me. Is it like getting an oil change? Is it like replacing blood in the body or platelets in the body and then bringing in fresh ones? How does this work? And how does it work with a 3-year-old?
Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Deborah. It's
Hey,
lovely
Lisa.
to see you. Jonathan, can you just ask your question again? Do you want to know what it's like to donate platelets or what it's like to
No.
receive a transfusion?
No, I want to know how the science behind a transfusion. Are we completely removing bad blood? Is there bad blood? I don't know how. I mean, I'm a layman. Like, then replacing it with good blood. I mean, I bring up the idea of an oil change again because I don't know.
The majority of transfusions are simple additions, right?
Okay.
Not so much a change of oil, but just adding products like red cells or platelets that a patient's own body isn't producing. But there are instances that are more like an oil change. There are specific diseases where we remove blood that is, or components of blood that may not be optimal, and replace that with donor blood.
And when you have a 3-year-old, and Gavin, I don't know the level, the nature of your specialty as a doctor, but when you have a 3-year-old who needs 47 blood transfusions, already a 3-year-old is, I don't know how built up their immune systems are. I don't know how built up their musculature is, their vein systems, but how do you not create damage putting a 3-year-old through 47 blood transfusions?
Yeah, thanks for welcoming me. I am a pediatric hematologist, so
perfect.
Dealing with kids who need blood transfusions is something I do commonly. Needing 47 transfusions is certainly on one extreme. I treat a lot of kids with blood disorders or with certain types of cancer where transfusions are common, but we're usually doing 1 or 2 transfusions at a time. And so that simple addition is not so much volume as to overwhelm their bodies. It sounds like Deborah's son was quite sick and over the course of 20-something days received a lot of transfusions. And, in those situations, either the body is using up the blood as it's being given, or maybe the patient is losing blood through one mechanism or another. So certainly we don't do 47 all at once usually, but in my practice, at least, it's fairly routine to be doing these, 1 or 2 products at a time.
And it's not. He has 1 needle in him, and you're replacing a bag. It's not a level of. You're not turning a kid into a pincushion. I didn't think that, but I got to imagine that the body receiving more fluid is just like, whoa, this is going to take some processing.
Yeah, it does. And, we typically run transfusions of blood or platelets over a certain amount of time on the range of minutes to hours so that we're not overwhelming them all at once.
Wow. And Deborah, how is Judah today? How many years? 2 years removed from the incident, from this scare?
Yeah, a little more. He's turning 6.
Wow.
So that's exciting. And he just finished kindergarten, though most of it was on Zoom, but he finished kindergarten and, he's still contending with some things, but gosh, he's doing great. And we're just so grateful for everybody at UCLA.
And Deborah, what did he eat and has he eaten it since? Does he have a phobia of this stuff?
That's probably more detail than I'd like to get into, if you don't mind.
I just want to avoid that. Whatever restaurant he went to, I don't want to eat there. Like,
I will say that my fruit and vegetable washing routine has changed significantly. Any food I can scrub clean, I'm sure I do it. And I have a lot of meat and fish thermometers going on in the kitchen.
Wesley, you excited to go back to the school cafeteria, buddy?
More scared now, but
I just remember when it was like Mystery Meat Wednesdays at Penn. I was like, I'm gonna skip this and go straight to the cereal bar. I think that's why people go to the cereal bars. Remember in college, you just be like, cool, there's a waffle maker. Maybe it's because you're just gonna avoid like what appears to be it's the cafeteria. Y'all get it. I'm sorry to add some levity and a little bit of silliness to this serious subject, but I hope Judah's doing all right. What's he into?
God, he loves basketball. He just finished his first season of Little League, which was awesome. He likes figuring out how to be a ninja.
Be
A
careful
budding
there, Deborah.
mathematician. He's very well rounded. He's a character.
And he has an older brother?
He does have an older
And
brother.
they wrestle.
He's almost 9. Oh, yes.
No.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Deborah, listen, Judah is going to be super healthy and his older brother is going to be is healthy. And I just want, I want you to be careful with the kids wrestling, because I want you to meet my younger brother, Paul, who I wrestled with all the time. And then he went and played and became a wrestler in the WWE. So here's, if those of y'all don't know, this is former tag team and cruiserweight champion Paul London, my younger brother, who became a WWE wrestler because I was like, why not pick on my younger brother for the entirety of our childhood? So let them wrestle, but unless you want to see them running around on TV in their underwear, don't let them wrestle too much. Okay, Deborah, or else that kid who you were like really worried about at 3 is going to be like super, 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 super wrestler kid. Okay, so
Thank you.
The basketball is good. The basketball is good. So Alyssa, it was awesome having you in the video. What would you say about to anybody who's kind of worried about blood donations now, and maybe what's some of the recruitment wordage that you use, Wesley? But first, Alyssa, sorry.
Okay. Well, I think, people have to remember that we need this supply, and that the greatest benefit they can gain is out of helping save someone's life, helping make that impact to a patient and the patient's families. So those health benefits or those emotional benefits should outweigh any concerns people have about the pain associated with donation. I don't know, maybe Jonathan, you can share your experience, but it's really simple. The donation itself can take 10 minutes if they're donating whole blood, and it's really, then there's the treats and people around to make sure that it is safe and that you are well cared for. And overall, it's a simple process and people have a good experience doing making a blood donation.
Okay, great. Let's see. We actually have another doctor. Dr. Alice Quo is here. And let's have her. Alice, I'm really sorry to not see you. I wasn't scrolling the chat, but what happened? You saw like the party that we had going on here and you were like, let me drop in there?
I decided to join you all.
This is like, you know what, Deborah, this is like a wrestling match where you have like one of these like big, like, what would it be, like a Royal Rumble where like every now and then you just have another wrestler come and join in. You got to understand, this is Geekscape. I'm not like y'all. I, again, went to school for art. Y'all are the scientists. I'm going to make bad metaphors. It's just going to happen. Okay. So again, Deborah, you have a chance with these two kids to make them more Wesley than Jonathan. All right. So
I'll just say this, so I'm on the record. Dr. Quo is our hero.
Yes, I saw you in the article I read about Judah's experience, Dr. Quo, and how scary did that get?
It was very surprising how fast it all progressed. I remember it very clearly. It was over Thanksgiving holiday, and Deborah contacted me with, she thought that Judah had, gotten a stomach bug. That's literally what we thought. And maybe the, diarrhea, vomiting was a little more severe than we would have normally thought, but how quickly it progressed was really surprising, I would say. And thank goodness that everything kind of fell together. The admission at Santa Monica, the transfer to Mattel Children's Hospital in Westwood, it just, again, and then definitely all of the transfusions that were required over the 3 weeks. I think going back to blood supply, like it really is that, because if we were in a low point where there wasn't the supply there, then, it would have been much more difficult for Judah. And I wanted to reassure people who are watching that it is safe to come into our hospitals and clinics. I know coming off of the global pandemic, many people have still been hesitant to come into a hospital facility because, there's a concern that, well, COVID is around. I think, if anything, hospitals and clinics are still masking and being very, very careful in ways that the rest of society, is opening up. Like we're still sort of in that mode. And so if there's any concerns about the safety of coming into the donation center, I want to reassure everyone that it is safe and that we really do need you to come in because so many of our patients rely on that. And you'll be doing a good thing. And I think, again, during this pandemic, if we've learned anything, it's the small good things that matter that people do for each other, right? That kind of keeps us going and feeds our souls. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
Dr. Ko, of course. I just found everybody at the UCLA Blood and Platelet Center to be completely welcoming. Kathy and Tom and everyone just were great with making a video and being organizing this panel. What are the things that you think are the most important things for someone to understand when let's say they're watching or listening right now and they're thinking about visiting a place like www.aabb.org to find a donation center? What are some of the things, because nationally they don't, if you're in Los Angeles, come visit our friends at UCLA. If you're national, let's find a blood bank or a donation center near you. What is like the one or two things for each of you that you would want them to come away with information wise?
I think it's important that people realize we do need blood on the shelf, just as some of my colleagues have shared here, and that is there for when the need, when it's necessary, when the accident happens, when someone comes into the hospital. So people need to donate kind of proactively, and that it takes a community. It takes people donating for their neighbors, for their friends, for their loved ones, and that happens all throughout the country. And donor centers are poised and ready to collect blood. We follow very safe and strict protocols to make sure that the donation experience is safe for the donor and that the products we collect are safe for patients. And so people can't wait till the problem occurs or till the tragedy occurs. They need to donate ahead of time so that the blood is ready when someone needs it.
Dr. Roach, what would you add to that?
I would second exactly what Dr. Zyman just said. We literally use blood transfusions and platelet transfusions every day in our hospitalized patients. There's always a need. And so we need people to be donating as often as they can. I would say also that it's super easy to donate. I know you touched on that in your previous video. It doesn't take a lot of time. It really doesn't hurt that much, and it makes you feel really good to do it, and you get the Cool Ranch Doritos, of course.
What I chose was the movie tickets. Theaters are opening up again. Please still wear masks. And I loved the fact that I get free movie tickets because we're Geekscape here. We love going to movies, so that was huge for me. Was getting the movie tickets.
Well, and the thing too, people worry that if they donate blood, they're going to have less blood. But while that's technically true for a little while, you actually can make more blood all the time. So if you go and donate a pint of your blood to donate to somebody, your body's going to be able to make that blood back in hours, really. So there's really no downside.
And Wesley, on campus with kids coming back or things going kind of back to normal, are you seeing that people who you approach to donate blood, are they like, sorry, I'm busy again, or are people going back to donating? Are you able to recruit students to get back into it?
I think it's still a bit hard to tell just because there are a few more months before the school year officially begins. I know that the center is working really hard at contacting different clubs and frats to work with them to recruit them. For example, I know Tom worked really hard on getting the Jewish club, Hillel club, to help and donate. And it's also great to see like this fresh approach and like recruiting these large clubs, which obviously have a lot of members, to come by and encourage other friends to donate.
Oh my God, I am doing some work with Hillel on another project. So I will run that up the chain of command and be like, hey, you need to shake out all these universities, all these kids, get them donating, do a drive through all your university dormitories and all the clubs and get them to donate. So Wesley, we'll connect on that. All right, man. We'll connect on that. Well, everybody, I'm really happy that y'all joined us. And Deborah, thank you so much for telling the story. Trust me, to me, it was just refreshing for somebody to show some emotion and cry and have it not be about being disappointed at a Star Wars movie. So that was really nice. I was like, oh, good. Someone's actually crying about something that matters. instead of being disappointed about Kylo Ren's reveal or something like that. I was like, come on, people, let's keep the perspectives here. These are human lives, all right?
Glad to be here.
No, Deborah, thank you so much. And you know, I know it's sometimes difficult to tell a painful story like that, but the good that you're doing is, I think, worth it, right? And Judah can always, like, when he grows up, he's gonna be like, my mom is a boss.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And he's a boss too, little guy.
He is. He is.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on. Wesley, you're always welcome to come and geek out with us anytime you want. Just know that when you watch me in one of those video games, you know, those first person shooters, like, can you look out for me instead of bully me?
Of course.
I'm not, dude, I'm terrible at those games.
I'll carry more games.
Well, yeah, okay. Thank you. And Dr. Zyman, Dr. Roach, Dr. Quo, thank you so much for everything you do. I really appreciate it. Y'all have been awesome joining us. Just keep up the great work. We'll try and get you some more donors throughout the year and on, okay?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
Excellent.
This is